Welcome to Sports Jazz. My name is Isaac. I've guitar with me, Josh in the building. As always, we're so happy to be back. Hope our subscribers, fans, those following and streaming right now, also ready. Please stay tuned as we dissect and give you analysis. As usual, as we always do. Once again, welcome to Sports Jazz. My name is Isaac, guitar, and Josh. Subscribe to Sports Jazz, like and share our videos. Gentlemen, glad to have you. Let's set it off right away. Today we are going to be speaking about the dark horses of the English Premier League, and by dark horses I mean Aston Villa that have done incredibly, or that did incredibly well last season, to the fact that they are going to UCL. Coming up again, we have Newcastle. They didn't do so well compared to the previous season, 2023 to 24, but they've still shown signs of improvement. And lastly, Westham that really featured last season. At some point, I thought Moyes was going to be fired, but here we are. He's still around, and they did well. They finished in the top 10, if I can say that. So let's set it off with Aston Villa, guys. The manager. Let's talk about the manager briefly. Josh, please give me a brief rundown about Unai. From Arsenal to the other side, then coming back.
Whoa! That's a whole mouthful. But Aston Villa is owned by V Sports, a company owned by Egyptian billionaire Nassef Sawiris, an American billionaire Wes Edens, and an American investment company called Atairos. But these owners of Aston Villa flirted with a very expensive experiment when they hired Steven Gerrard in the dugout. It almost cost them their Premier League status.
Bro, that was a wrong move.
Yeah, had he stayed longer than the 11 months that he did, probably it would have been relegated or something. Correct. But they quickly sacked him, and they hired Unai Emery to resurrect their season. And he did do just that, finishing 7th and leading them to the Conference League. They did go play in Europe, and in his first season, they finished 7th, played in the Conference League. He did well, actually, in the Conference League. The next season, which is last season, he finished in the Champions League places. So Aston Villa is returning to the Champions League. You should know that Aston Villa European Cup champions they won the European Cup championship in 1982. So I mean, they have one they have one better than our friends. Yeah, those friends of ours.
David, if you're watching, I'm washing my hands. It has nothing to do with me and Gita. It's just sending the jabs.
Yeah, but Unai Emery is a very decent manager. Unai Emery has the pedigree in European competitions. He's been at Villarreal, he's been at Valencia, he's been at Sevilla, and all the work that he did there is very remarkable. I mean, he's won 4 titles, 4 Europa League titles, 3 consecutively with Sevilla, and one with Villarreal after he left Arsenal. Someone might ask that the Unai Emery you speak of so highly, how come things didn't work out at Arsenal? At Arsenal at the time, replacing a huge figurehead like Arsene Wenger, it was always going to be a tall order unless there was stability at the club. And at the time Unai Emery was there was not really stability, as the people above on the board, most of them kept leaving. There was a guy who left and went to AC Milan. There were 2 guys who left there, and it became very difficult for him because he did not know the politics of football. He did understand the football itself, and he preferred to be a head coach rather than a football manager, like say Arsene Wenger, whose fingerprints were ingrained in Arsenal, everywhere in Arsenal.
Yeah.
So Aston Villa have a good coach. They have actually the best manager they can have going into the Champions League, and
All
you
right.
can see that he has already made headway in trying to have a formidable squad.
Sign. Yeah, we're going
Yeah,
to come to
to
that,
have a
Josh.
formidable
Yeah.
squad in Europe. The thing is, when he came to Aston Villa, he did ask for trust. He really wanted people that he trusts in football to be around him, because Unai Emery is very obsessed with the work that he does and is only interested in being a head coach. He does not want
Correct.
to be involved in negotiating for players. He does not want, so he brought in his friends Damien Vidagani and Monchi, and some of his friends and the backroom staff from Sevilla, from Valencia, and these are the people who have helped him to actually do the job that he loves to do, which is
Thank you.
just coach football on the grass.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. That's a very, very good insight about Unai Emery. And I hope our viewers now have a very clear idea of the manager of Aston Villa, his background, where he came from. Arsenal, rather Sevilla, goes to Arsenal, fired Villarreal, then comes back as a manager of Aston Villa and performs so well. So yeah, Gita, real quick, what does it mean for Aston Villa to have qualified for UCL or UEFA Champions League, and they are going to be playing this season? I mean, for a club that last featured in 1982, before it was even was it Champions League then? I think they had another name.
Eu- European Cup champions.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What does it mean for a club like, and
It was a
what,
European Cup.
I mean, how exciting is it for the fans?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think I can't say anything beyond what Josh has talked about.
Yeah,
You know, this the hiring of Unai Emery shows that clubs should trust or give time to coaches to implement their philosophy.
yeah,
Unai Emery inherited a team of young players at the time. Actually, most of the players that Ateta is now enjoying, the likes of, if you remember, Zaka, the likes of Saka, some of these players, maybe some of these
Martinelli.
players, Martinelli, all these players were under Unai Emery, who was trying to, sometimes it takes time to implement a philosophy. So
yeah,
the fact that when coming to Aston Villa at the time when Gerrard had almost had them relegated, anything beyond that, just playing normal football, was going to be a success for them. But imagine in your first season from relegation, from almost to being relegated rather, to seventh position, and then the following season you're playing for Champions League. I do not see any better trajectory. In fact, if we are to be honest and we compare all coaches, I think he's the most successful coach in the last two seasons compared to any. If we put trophies aside, when you just
mm,
look at the trajectory of a club, imagine from almost relegation seventh to now playing Champions League that you had never played in. It's now getting players like you're having Douglas Lewis, who they sold. That's why you see it's the team that has bought the biggest number of players within the Premier League. So to answer your question of what it means to them, I think you've answered it. I mean, it's everything to future in to be in the top four, where teams like Spurs, teams like Manchester United, Chelsea have struggled, and
yeah.
Aston Villa of all teams that who even if they had finished fifth or sixth would still
Would
be a
be a
huge
great
achievement.
achievement. Mm,
So
Yeah.
that's what it means. Now, for me, the fact that they qualified, I thought that would be enough for them. But it shows you that Unai Emery is ambitious and he has given the fans and the club ambition. They have bought almost 5, 6 players who, of course, will go into them. That shows you, because they are going to compete at a higher level. You need those extra players so that you can be able to compete at higher level. So for me, it shows that they are going to achieve a lot.
mm,
They have indeed achieved a lot for just and maybe giving that success. And they, of course, whenever you play into the Champions League, you're never the same. Your ambitions change from just finishing in the top 10 to we
yeah,
must always get in. And it's not far fetched. 1 or 2 seasons, even if you get out in the next season, in the 1 or 2 seasons that follow, you will find yourself going back into the Champions League. So
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gita. That's a beautiful insight. And yeah, shout out to Brenda. I see you're online. You're saying hi, guys. Then Nick Fadley, as always, shout outs to you. I think this is, he's still saying evening, but I understand this is, I think, Philippines or something like that. The language, I'm not Filipino, I'm not so sure. But yeah, shout outs to you as always. Uh, yeah, okay, let's move on. Still, Gita, coming back to you, the current summer signings. I mean, Aston Villa has done well. I think they are signing in preparation, as Josh said, in preparations for the UCL, having qualified. And you know, when you qualify to Champions League, you also receive a certain amount of money. On top of that, Premier League, you know, their position, they finished fourth, right?
Yeah, they did finish fourth.
Yes,
The
finish
money
fourth.
also they receive, and they have done some very, very incredible signing and splashing money. I mean, to believe that Aston Villa
Incredible.
paid. No, no, no. I'm going to say who. I'm going to say who. Onana. Ahmad Onana is a good midfielder, guys. He's a good,
Yeah, it's
although
decent.
slightly outpriced, but I think he's a good midfielder. But the 52-year-old Unai maybe needs him. He was bought for 59.35 million euros. Then you have left back Ian Matsen from Chelsea, 44.5 million euros. You have Cameroon Acha, center forward from Sheffield, 16.65 million euros. You have Jaden Philogene from Hull City, 16 million euros. You have Samuel Ailing Jr., Juventus, 14 million euros. You have Lewis Dobbin from Everton. I mean, the list goes on. 11.8 million euros. And still Enzo Barenecha, sorry for the pronunciation, from Juventus, still 8 million euros. And Ross Buckley from Luton, championship club right there, 5.9 million euros. And some other players also coming from loan, like Morgan Sanson from Oginais. Then you also have Costa coming back from Red Star. That's also a loan. So currently, Aston Villa is a club that has spent a lot of money compared to all other teams in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, in Europe. You know, and it's really amazing. Yeah, sorry, we've lost Josh connection. Hopefully he's back. Josh, I was saying
Yes,
Villa have done so well.
sir.
They're saying they're signing players, and it's amazing. They are really, really, really. I would say, in terms of military terms, it's called yeah, they're loading artillery, enough artillery for UCL. Yeah, sorry, yeah, I meant Zach earlier, not Josh. So, Josh, a quick one. How good are these signings for a club like Aston Villa? And what should we expect from Villa as well? Being sorry, Josh is. I think he has a few problems. He'll be also back shortly. But guys, let's see this. Yeah, as I was saying, they did sign Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana was a very, very surprise signing for me, especially the amount that they paid for him. And I am surprised that Everton let him go. It was very, very, very surprising that Everton left Amadou Onana go. And also in the same sentence, Aston Villa also was it Diaby? He joined a team in Saudi Arabia, and they also paid a very huge amount for him, close to 50 million euros. And yeah, that's Aston Villa for you. Josh, glad to have you back. I hope you're stable now.
Yeah, so I am. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good. So yeah, we're saying, what do you make of the expenditure, the spending of Aston Villa right now? Should we take it that the money is recruiting and adding more artillery to his squad? He wants to challenge for UCL.
Yeah, I do believe that the project at Aston Villa under Unai Emery is somewhat um, ahead of schedule because
Mm,
little did they think that if they got in Unai Emery, they would be playing in the Champions League in 2 seasons. But here they are.
mm,
They're playing in the Champions League. He got them some money playing in Europe. They played in the
yeah,
Conference League. Now they're going to play in the Champions League. They have to invest. He has to look for the players that can not only give him squad depth, but they can give him know-how in at the European stage. And Unai Emery, like, he has the pedigree in the European environment, as in he's been there, done that. So at the end of the day, buying players, Aston Villa needed to buy players for the
The-
manager.
eh, okay, just and again, still before I come to Guitar, Amadou Onana, is it worth that amount of money that they paid for him? They could have gone. I keep saying
Yeah,
South America has very, very good players.
no, Amadou Onana, as in
You
that's
could get
just
two South
about.
American players, very beautiful. You could
No,
go
but
in one
that's
of the
just
leagues in
about
Argentina or Brazil.
that's just
Mm-mm.
about the price tag. I don't think he was overpriced at 60 million euros. I don't think he
I
was
think it was
overpriced
overpriced.
because right now, I think a midfielder from the Premier League to another Premier League team would cost just about 50 million euros. So it does
Mm,
not even matter how good the player is, but that's just the stakes in the league. No one is going to sell you their player for, say, less than 50 million pounds, unless the lower tier sides.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yes, yes, Gita.
yeah, I agree with Josh on the issue of Ahmad Onana. I mean, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
If you're going, I was a huge fan of his. In fact, I had hoped Manchester United would buy him at the time when Everton were having issues
Mm,
prior to this season. If you watch the Euros when Belgium was playing, Ahmad Onana was literally linking the defense with what, with the forwards. I
yeah.
know everyone was looking at Kevin De Bruyne, but people are not looking at what he does. He's very good at tackling and he's very good at passing the ball. He
At
knows
some,
how to. He has
mm,
good positional. I like midfielders who have good positional play. When
mm,
you, especially with the kind of football that Unai Emery plays, which is literally playing from the back,
yeah.
and when they play from the back, they equally press high. So you need a player that can position himself and move into spaces so that other players can, when he hits back the ball and move into spaces and get the ball. But he's very good on the turn, passing the ball, long balls. Even he's not so good. The dribbles, I've not seen so much of him doing that, but he's still equally good with protecting the ball. So for me, if you're going to buy within the Premier League, that is the price you're going to get. And look, Manchester United wanted to get Ugarte, who is very good at
At some
covering as
point,
a number
actually, it
six.
was rumored.
But
At one point, Gita, sorry. At one point, it was rumored that United were in for Onana, but I think also
Uh,
what blew them
thank
off was
God,
the
thank God it
amount.
never materialized. I never saw a midfield of Eric Ten Hag side with an overly glorified Fellaini. I just couldn't
What?
take it.
Fellaini, or you mean glorified
no,
Fellaini? Come on, Josh, that's
no,
a
I
bit,
Yeah,
disagree. I
no, no,
that's
no,
disagree.
no, no,
brutal.
no.
I disagree. Actually,
It's
Isaac.
Yeah, Gita. Sorry, Guitar. Oh God, it's so sad we are losing him. Yeah, Josh. Unfortunately, it looks like we're losing. We've lost them both. Yeah, that was going to be a good hit up, a good debate between Josh and Guitar. Uh, yeah, I see. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Josh, you're back. We lost
yeah.
Guitar. Guitar, you're also back. Guitar, I don't know what happened right there, but please,
No,
Guitar, you were
we
saying
are.
something.
Yes, sorry, we are having the same internet connection issues. But I was saying, Josh is being very harsh when he calls him a glorified Fellaini. Fellaini was not good with the ball. Fellaini was he would actually lose the ball so often. Fellaini was playing more of a number 10, while Amado Onana can play as a number 6, a number 8. I think his biggest problem is that they keep on changing his position, so you're not as fans, you're not sure of what he's actually doing. And I believe Unai Emery's Aston Villa is going to unlock his kind of play. He's going to be one of their most cherished players. And to add on what Josh just said, they have also bought experienced players like Buckley. He's not that
Mm,
player who's going to do so much because of his age. But there are certain, when you want someone who's going to be direct,
Yeah.
he's going to move the ball. He's going to be direct. He's good at those long passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they have bought different kinds of players, different profiles that will fit right in there, and of
Thank you.
course to back up the players that they have.
Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful from you, Guitar. And we have Match Day podcast saying Aston Villa is going to dismantle many big hitters. Read the so called top five. I think that includes United, however much they didn't finish in the top five, Arsenal,
So it's not a
City,
match.
Liverpool, Chelsea. It's not. It's not a.
No, it's not.
Yeah. And also we see someone else Francisco Smith. Shout outs to you, Francisco Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, moving on, guys. Okay, before we finish Aston Villa, we're coming to Newcastle. Real quick, guys, just 5 seconds. Josh, Villa to finish top four this coming season
N-
or no?
No, no chance.
No, Guitar. That is brutal from you. That is brutal. Yeah, Guitar, turn on your
Uh,
It's
mic.
just
Is Villa?
honest.
yes,
Yes,
Villa. There's a
yes or no,
chance, but I
Guitar?
think yes and no. It's a hard question to say yes or no.
I
I
know.
think they'll finish top five.
Yeah.
Yes, top
Okay,
five.
thank you. Nick, I see your question. We are going to come to your question very soon. Okay, moving on to Newcastle. It's almost the same story, although there has happened ever since, or rather started happening. Good things started happening to Newcastle ever since the club was sold. They got new owners, brought in Eddie Howe, who has done brilliantly well. Although last season he had a few mishaps, but I think still I can't. I don't know why you're shaking your head, Guitar, but I think he has done brilliantly well. I mean, for a club like Newcastle, Newcastle used to be the
No,
last among the listen. Newcastle used to be among the last three,
with the
four
money, with
teams.
the money they spent, they have done nothing.
No,
Compare
they
the
did, but
money Aston Villa.
The
Compare the money Aston Villa spent on Unai Emery and a few buys they made, and then you
mm,
talk of Newcastle. They have very good players. You have Anthony Gordon. You have Alexandra Isaac. You have so
yeah,
many good players, and the way they finished. They were supposed to even have finished on top of Manchester United because Manchester United was really struggling. I don't see Eddie Howe is a very good coach, but I just don't see. I think his philosophy is not being implemented by these players. I just don't get it, but they are not playing as good as.
how? How they did
No,
play
come
very
on.
well. Okay, let me
Wait,
just chip in here.
what,
yes,
Uh,
what position?
David.
What position? This is literally his second. When he came in and he was flying in the first 10 games of the season, everyone
Yeah,
was all praise of Eddie Howe, and at the same time, Eric Ten Hag was struggling, and the same media was giving him his subs or banter. Now, here you're at the end of the season, they are struggling.
Guitar, Josh. Oh, guys, come on, come on, come on. This is not fair. This is not cool. This is not cool at all. This is not cool at all, guys. Not cool at all. Anyway, yes, Guitar was still telling us why he thinks Unai shouldn't be given time, or rather, shouldn't be rated so high. I mean, it's not like we're really rating him, but I think he's done well. He's done well. He's tried to do well. Gentlemen, I don't know. Guitar, you were doing something very beautiful and you went off just like that. And when you go off, it looks like also Josh is affected. Anyway, oh God, no, let me say that. Guys, please, whenever you're ready, please come back. Yeah, I myself, I think Newcastle has done well. I know they didn't perform so good this season, but last season they really tried. And by last season, I mean 2023 to 24. Sorry, 2022 to 23. So last season was 2023 to 24. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay, very good to have you back. Hopefully you don't go out again because you guys were doing a very good submission. Josh, as I was saying, I really think Eddie has done incredibly well. I mean, compared to how we used to know Newcastle. Newcastle used to be down from top bottom four every time the season is about to end. They struggle. They bring in someone new. They bring in a mercenary, just to make sure that they are not relegated. And they would cheer up every time they would finish the 16th or 15th or 14th. But to see that nowadays they're trying so hard to be in the top five or top six, I think it's incredibly well. They did go they did qualify to the Champions League last season, although things didn't go out well. It's not like they didn't buy players; they did buy players, but things didn't go so out well. And how would you overrate their? How would you? Yeah, how would you rate their performance last season, especially being kicked out of the UCL? I mean, their overall performance.
Well, I think they actually did well. They had
Mm,
a tremendous run in the Champions League. Yes, it ended early, but they were a team. They were a team to watch. At least we felt their presence. We felt their presence. We enjoyed the PSG game at St James's Park. You know,
mm,
it was good all round. And Newcastle has been a mid-table team or something. This is a team that had Michael Owen, that had Alan Shearer. You know, it has not been so bad. It has not been so bad. But Eddie Howe, I think that Dan Ashworth was at Newcastle. United got him, and they've
mm,
replaced him with Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell is one who is the sporting director from Monaco, who was rumored some 2-3 years ago to be the ideal candidate for the sporting director role at United. But what I want to say is, I do think that the hiring of Eddie Howe, they Newcastle just took a different uh, just took a different direction on how they want to progress. They took a different direction on how they want to progress. Eddie Howe might be the sacrificial lamb who gets the team almost there, and then he's let go, and someone else comes to finish the job. But so far so good. He's not done badly at all. They had that whole problem with the profit and sustainability rules in June at the end of the financial year. So every homegrown player like Sean Longstaff and players like that, they were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen. They ended up selling a very promising kid called Elliot, and they ended up selling two players, but just to not be penalized by the PSR rules. But
yeah,
going forward, I know that they will do buy some players, and Newcastle to finish in the top 10 is quite an achievement. I know that everyone is looking at how much money they have, but
yeah. Josh? Oh God, quite unfortunate, guys.
position
That
to spend that money. Man City was in a position to spend that money like that because the rules allowed for it to happen. But right now the rules are so stringent on expenditure of clubs. So yeah, they're okay. Newcastle is okay. Eddie Howe is a very decent manager, and the players that they did buy for him are decent players. They're good enough to finish in the top 10.
okay. Thank you very much. That was also a beautiful one from you, Josh. So in other words, as you also insist, he has done well for the club, right?
Yeah, he has done well for the club. He upset he upset the renowned top four teams, and
Mm,
Newcastle qualified for the Champions League ahead of them. So not I don't see that feat happening again this
yeah.
season, given the window is still open, and but they do not have depth in squad. You see, last season, his season was hampered by the injuries that they got. They
Mm,
got injuries to Fabian Shah, they got injuries to Miguel Almiron, they got injuries to um, Gimares,
Yeah,
so they struggled a bit, but just because of the squad depth. But the players they have, Isak, top striker, Anthony Gordon, top player, Gimares,
yeah,
Brazil international, um, Fabian Shah. They have decent players.
yeah. I also think they have very decent players, players that can work so well. But hoping and wishing them the best. And how about their current summer signings, Josh? And also, we saw uh, the gentleman that was announced, yeah, or rather, that did pass his medical yesterday. We saw players like we've seen players like the center back from Bournemouth, Lloyd Kelly. We've seen players like Lewis Hull from Chelsea, 33 million euros. That's a lot of money. They've
Yeah.
also signed the goalkeeper. What's his name? Odysseus. Yeah,
Yes.
Odysseus from Nottingham Forest, 23.6 million euros. Again, signed your centre back Kelly from Bournemouth, free transfer. John Rudy, goalkeeper from Birmingham, League One, free transfer. Then you have left back Alex Murphy, uh, promoted from Newcastle's academy under 21 to the senior team. Then Yankuba Minte, Feyenoord, who he was on loan, but he's back from Feyenoord. Then also you have Garang Cole, left back, who was also on loan, and he's back at the team. And there are players that they want to sign, Josh. Please give me a few details about the players. And the gentleman that did finish his medical yesterday, the one I was talking about. And not to forget, it looks like they are really going in for Mark Gay, 24-year-old center back, Crystal Palace, who did put up a very beautiful performance during the Euros.
Yeah, that would be a marquee signing for them if they did
Yeah.
sign Maguehi. I mean, he would be the marquee signing to turn around their season. Their fortunes would their fortunes would change. Even my prediction for where they will finish in the season quickly changes if they've introduced a player like Maguehi to partner Fabian Shah. Uh,
Mm,
they 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 Osula finished completed his medical and will be a Newcastle player. I think he's brought in from Sheffield. He'll help with he'll help partner Isak, Alexander Isak. They're
okay.
looking to sign Malik Tiao. They've
Yeah.
not yet completed the signing of Malik Tiao, and they're still interested in Malik Tiao. They're still interested in Gonzalez.
Mm,
They're still interested in Gonzalez, but nothing has materialized yet. But what I can tell you with certainty is Newcastle will have a new center back before the season opens. I do believe in the sporting director they've replaced Dan Ashworth with Paul
mm.
Mitchell. Yeah, because the projects that
Paul
he
Mitchell is good. Paul Mitchell is good. I mean, Josh, bro, the network is so poor that side. Yeah, Mitchell is good. Yeah, moving on, guys, real quick. That was just giving us about the transfers that are likely to happen for Newcastle. So, Adieri, I hope you're sorted because you always ask and inquire about Newcastle. We see. I was going to ask if we expect them to finish top four. I don't think they'll finish top four, but I do think Aston Villa will finish top four. Newcastle, I don't see them finishing top four at all. Yeah, thank you so much. So, and the last team, which is Westham United, managed by David Moyes. Josh, thank you for coming back. Managed by David Moyes. It seems Moyes is a fan's favorite, Josh. Actually, wherever he goes, at Everton, before moving to Man United, even when he was sacked from or at Man United, there were, excuse me, there were fans that still thought it was unfair for him, especially them saying he wasn't backed very well, and he still says the same thing. In fact, in a recent interview, was it with was it with Alex? Is it Alex? Who is this guy who works at Top Spot? Jordan White and Simon.
Simon
Yeah,
Jordan,
Simon. Either it was
Jim
with
White.
Simon, or no, Simon Jordan or Gary Neville. I don't know, one of their podcasts. He was saying how he was so close to buying Fabregas, but things went south. Anyway, Josh, stop.
Is that
Man,
the
I'm saying
same
something
story?
serious. You're
Is that
laughing. He's
no?
still
Is that
singing
the
the
same
same story.
story that he was close to signing Tony Cruz?
Yeah, he also said the same thing. He also said the same thing.
But let me tell you something. Like, I mean, at the time that Dave Moyes was at United,
Mm,
if Tony Cruz was coming from Bayern Munich and
yeah.
United was interested in him, and he was told that he's going to play for Dave Moyes, do you think that he would have easily been convinced that that's a project is worth leaving Bayern for? I
Josh,
mean,
let's move on. David Moyes, guys. Josh, tell me what you think about Moyes being a manager. I mean, he did have a very poor. He had a fair start, but as the season went on, the last season as it went on, things became a bit sour. Things became ugly. At one point, I thought he was going to lose his job, but every
yeah,
time he would lose 3 games, he would come
he
back
would
with a
bounce back.
draw, then a win, then he loses again. Or he comes back with a win, draw. That was the cycle. But at the end of the season, he performed well, ran into the top four. Sorry, not top four, 10 first clubs. And yeah, I think he really, really did so well. I mean, compared to how things were. I mean, what do you think about Moyes, him as a manager, and
He's
what's
a
the
he's a
progression
he's a
at
good
West Ham?
guy. He's a good
Mm,
guy. He's a decent manager. He's a
yeah,
decent manager. He has actually showed that he's comfortable working in um, environments that are not so loud. I mean, when he
yeah,
was at United, it was just too loud for him. He just couldn't take it in. But when he went back to West Ham, he actually even won a trophy. He won a European trophy for them. But I
mm,
think the departure of Declan Rice really affected his progress at
yeah.
West Ham. Yeah,
Because he
it
had
affected
built the
his
team
progress at
around
West
him.
Ham.
He was
Yes,
thinking
yeah,
of building, yeah,
yeah,
around
and
him.
he had this boy believed in Dave Moyes, because even when he was about to leave the season before he actually left,
Right.
he asked him to stay another season, and he did stay. But it sort of disrupted his progress of West Ham at the time. And
Mm,
West Ham also didn't help itself with buying players who don't really fit.
mm,
Uh, when you look at Moyes' style of football, you see
mm,
this Antonio is so successful as a center forward, playing for Moyes until when he got injured and missed most of the season last season. I mean, he was unbelievable playing there. So
yeah.
I don't think Skamaka was the right fit for West Ham at the time, because knowing the manager at West Ham, Skamaka was not the ideal player. And now they also have a problem with Lucas Paqueta.
Mm,
Yeah, his issues have not yet been resolved. We are yet
okay.
to understand the extent of or
But
whether there will
Josh,
be any charges against him.
mm,
Yeah, for the
Josh,
betting. Yes.
Josh, sorry, I think to correct you, sorry, our viewers, I think we are mistaken. David Moyes, the current manager of who? Of West Ham right now, uh, is Julian. What's his name?
Loptegi.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
yeah, yeah. We're talking about
Yeah.
David Moyes. I
Yeah, we're
just
talking
remembered.
about David Moyes, because what we're talking about is actually what
Okay,
happened.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because you
Okay,
did
all
ask
right.
about Dave Moyes. Then,
Okay,
well,
correct.
yes, yes, yes.
Mm. So
Yeah,
I
but
think before he left, he had done incredibly well.
yeah, he had done incredibly well, but now
Mm,
I think it was time for him to leave.
okay.
Yeah, it was time for him to leave. Now they got Jules
Julian
Loptegi.
Lopetegi,
Yeah,
Spanish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Loptegi
Uh,
was at Wolves briefly, and things didn't didn't work out, and he left. But now he's back, and I think he has recruited well. I mean, the 31-year-old German Niklas Fulkrug,
yeah.
he's quite an old-fashioned number 9. I mean, he will do well in the Premier League. He's big, he's physical, he's aggressive.
Mm. In fact,
Yeah,
it's West Ham has been so far the current, so far the I think it's the second in Europe, but I know it's the second in the Premier League uh, that has spent much this transfer window. They've bought Max Killman. By the way, I think Max Killman is a very very good centre back from Wolves
yeah,
at
he is.
27.5 million euros. Then
Yeah,
Somerville, left winger from Leeds, 29.3 million euros. Nicholas Fulkrug. I love this guy. I still remember the goal he scored in the opening game of the Euros against Scotland. Very beautiful goal from Dortmund, 27 million euros. He was announced yesterday. Luis, the right winger from Palmeiras, Brazil, 23 million euros. Rodriguez, defensive midfielder from Real Betis, free transfer. Then you have Wes, the goalkeeper from Sheffield, free transfer. And a lot of players coming back from Lyon, Monaco. That's Berahama coming in from Said Berahama, Ben Rahma coming in from Monaco. Then Thilo Kera coming in from Said coming in from Lyon, and Thilo coming back from Monaco, and also Andy Iving coming in from one of the teams in the Bundesliga. Yeah, all coming back on loan. So I think they're signing their transfer. Their transfer has not also been bad. Their transfer activities, but what surprised me is the player they sold to Diaby, the player they sold to one of the Saudi clubs. They didn't sell him cheaply, very
yeah.
costly, but that was very, very surprising.
50. Yeah, it was surprising. But the
Yeah,
thing is, I have a negative vibe about Julian Loptegi,
yeah,
because to me he seems like he's not a man of his word. I mean, okay, yeah, things can go south, and you might disagree with a few people, and we might not have the full information, so we judge when the decision is made. But this is a
correct.
guy who was at Wolves briefly, and he
Things didn't
left.
turn out so
He
well.
was, yeah. Then he left. He was coaching. He was the coach for Spain at a tournament. He
Yeah,
flirted with Real Madrid and walked, you know, to go and be the coach at Real Madrid. I mean,
yeah, reminds me of the
that's
Fulham manager, the current Fulham manager. What's his name?
Silva.
Yeah, he did the same thing. Do you remember? Either it
Uh,
was with Wolves, I think it was with Wolves or Everton. It was Wolves. English media criticized him or something. He flirted for a few, just like that. He left. He went to another another club.
yeah,
Yes, Josh. You're
yeah.
still
So
saying.
I have a negative vibe around him. I mean, he might just. It's very difficult if you know what he has done before for as the owner of a club, to back him, because
uh,
yeah, he might just change his mind at any point.
Josh, and tell me, why do you think? How do you think? Should we expect them to do better this season? I mean, they've showed a lot of activity when it comes to the transfer this window.
Yeah, there's
Should we
been,
expect them to
yeah,
perform better? And should we expect them?
true.
I won't say top four, top eight. Will Julian take them, or Julian take them to the Europa? I won't even say Champions League, but Europa.
Yeah, they'll fight. They'll fight. They'll fight for those places in and around the Europa League and European Conference. I think
Mm,
they've bolstered their squad. It looks good.
yeah.
It looks good,
Mm,
and now we wait to see what Loptegi can do to actually have a clearer picture of the new Westham look.
mm,
It's always not easy to change You might change a manager, but if the manager does not get stability from the board, it's very difficult for him to be successful.
That's true. Okay. Thank you so much, Josh. That's a very, very beautiful insight from you. I think we should now progress and go to the transfer. Yeah, to the transfers, latest transfers, because I know everyone wants to know what's happening in the transfer gossip. Josh, quickly, we are going to come back later and do a stream about Man United specifically, because I'll call it a battle. The decisions that is supposed to be made for they are trying to get someone else since Ugat is not coming through. But Josh, real quick, if I'm to give me a brief one about the Man United saga. I mean, what's happening? The replacement, Ugarte deal is off. Who are they coming? We've seen a new name coming through. It's been making rounds, making news. Anything
Yeah.
concrete? Just briefly, 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's really nothing concrete, and you should also know that the Ugarte deal is not really off. The United just says that they will not pursue Ugarte if PSG does not reduce the asking price. If they do reduce the asking price, they are more than welcome to get back to the negotiating table. But United is not sitting around. It's looking at alternatives for if the Ugarte deal does not happen. They've looked at several players, and the
Yeah,
most
just
interesting
break
one
them.
is the
Yeah,
midfielder from
just
Burnley.
yeah, we are going to come back. Please just
Yeah, they've
mention it
looked
quickly.
at
Mm,
they've looked at okay, but from the start, we've been looking at players like Zubimendi. We've been looking
correct.
at Sofian Amrabat. We've been
Yeah,
looking at Richard Rios. We've been
yeah.
looking at Sama
Emmanuel
Badge.
Ugarte. Yeah.
We've
You
been
mean
looking at
alternative? Okay.
we've
Mm,
been looking at Ederson. The
yeah.
latest to be added onto the list is Ederson. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Fofana
alternatives,
also at one
the
point.
alternatives to Manuel Ugarte, because Ugarte was our first pick.
Yeah.
Then yeah, we've been looking at Wesley Fofana.
No, not Wesley Fofana.
So there's
Not Wesley
sorry,
Fofana.
not
What is
Wesley Fofana,
Yusuf?
Yusuf,
Yusuf.
Yusuf,
Yeah,
Yusuf Fofana, Yusuf Fofana.
yeah.
Yeah, so we've
Anyway,
been United is busy, and it's interesting that they're actually looking at those players, because at least
mm.
you will have an option. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. Well, still real quick in the next 5 minutes, we see Arsenal now more reasonable with their demands from Marseille for Nketa. I really hope Nketa goes through. And by the way,
Okay.
Marseille has
Yeah.
been so aggressive. Yeah, Nketa, Eddie
Yes.
Nketa.
Yes.
Marseille has been so aggressive this season. We see uh, Douglas Luiz. He was asked today why he left the Premier League in Aston Villa. He was like, I'm sure any player in the world would have wanted to experience playing for Juventus, and I'm no different. Yeah, that was his. Then Strasbourg are set to sign 17-year-old Messi, not the Messi, but this one is Messi, Ryan Messi, for 1 million euros. Then we have who else? Who else? Yeah, of course, Manchester United are considering a move for Atlanta midfielder Ederson as an alternative for Ugarte. Chelsea, Atletico Madrid are preparing all documents for Julian Alvarez deal. It could take some time, but yeah, it looks like they did agree with Man City, 75 million euros upfront and 20 million euros as add-ons, contract running up to 2029. That's the deal for you. Dan Olmo has already passed his deal. Sorry, his medical. He's almost a Juventus player. Only announcement waiting. And Liverpool are exploring a deal to sign Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, although his release clause is 60 million euros. So we shall be seeing how that goes. There's a rumor, I don't know how true it is. Manchester United have made another approach to sign Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. They are willing to do a deal for a region within 30 to 40 million pounds. I think right now, if United went, Barcelona would just welcome them with open arms. But it depends on the player if he
No,
wants to leave.
I don't think. I don't
Although
think. I don't
De
think
Jong
De
is a
Jong
very
is
good player,
ready
but
to
I'm only
accept.
worried about his injury-prone issues.
Yeah. Besides,
Yeah, and
right now, the fact
mm,
that United is in the market for midfielders, If I were his agent and I didn't throw his name around, I would be crazy. I mean, this is a guy that United has flirted with. I mean,
Okay.
let me just throw him up there
Th-
and I see what
There are
happens.
still there are still rumors of Ivan Toney wanting to sign for Manchester United or any top club, especially in the Premier League. But Manchester United, when I say top, I put in quotes. We still take United as one
You
of
don't
those
have to.
clubs
You don't have to apologize for
because they didn't
United
finish
being a
even.
top club. It's a
You
top
see
top
how they
club.
finished.
It's a top club.
Well, Brentford has reduced the price to 40 million euros, and they are willing to sell instead of letting him walk freely. Rumors of Al Nassr having registered interest in Dos Santos Anthony, switching from Rafinha, whose deal failed to run through. Well, some United fans would be very happy if Anthony agreed to go join them. And
Yeah, it
Dominic
should.
Solanke, who has been given a green light to move to Tottenham Hotspurs, as per Fabrizio. I think
Good
it will
move.
be a great deal for him, but a
Yeah.
bad deal for Spurs. They should be looking better for some. You have Ivan Tony.
Yeah, but Solanke is younger and Solanke scored more goals than Ivan Tony. Okay, you can
Yeah, Ivan
argue
Tony
that
was
Ivan
out for
Tony
some
was
time.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the ban and all that stuff. So, but I think he
But
would have done
Solanke is
incredibly
a
better.
very is a decent center forward.
Yeah, as you said, he's a decent center forward, and the one I think
So
Spurs
is
shouldn't be going
Tony.
in
So
for.
is Tony. None of them is special.
William Pacha to PSG, done as for Fabrizio, 40 million euros up front and five add-ons, 5-year contract. Player is expected to be in France today. I think that's it, guys. The time is really against us. Let's go to Nick Faddy. I see first. It seems British coaches and managers are generally hired with a bit of suspicion, unless they've added some good European experience to their resume.
Resume. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I agree with that.
Then
But
going back
at
to
least.
Fadi. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No,
No,
no, no.
go
You're
on.
saying you agree with that? Okay. Then we see Nick says, since you said Villa, how strong do you believe they'll finish in top four? Josh,
He already got my answer,
since
and
since they
we
played, you
moved on.
said
Maybe
no.
I answer for Jita.
Guitar Duck is the dark horse. Josh, Mane or Gigs? Well, unfortunately, Guitar is not around. And Nick goes on to say, for the
Gigs.
question, Guitar, I'm just joking. Don't take it serious. Uh, he says, I think, yeah, you answered. Josh, I shouldn't have asked that question since you've already answered it. The answer is no. Correct. Yeah, Josh, that's it for us today. We had guitar today, but unfortunately, connection issues. Thank you so much for whoever's been tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Sports Just keep subscribing, like, and share our videos. We had Josh in the building, guitar earlier on. I myself, Isaac, and we are signing out. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe Sports Just. Josh, a word to our viewers before we check out or sign out?
Yeah. Thank you, Nick Fadley, Brendan Kyle, the Match Day podcast.
Yeah.
Please continue to comment and continue to watch our videos.
And
Thank you. Oh,
Francesco.
yeah, Francisco Smith. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
Shout outs to
Cheers.
you, Sports Jazz. Cheers.